Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier kicking off the late 50-cent Pick 5 at Gulfstream Park on Saturday with stakes action. Turf Sprinters, 3-year-old filly turf sprinters, and the $75,000 Melody of Colors Stakes. You can play the Pick 5 with a DRF Bets account, and you can double your action when doing so. Bet 100, get 100 when you sign up at bets.drf.com. Let's meet the field of 3-year-old fillies getting set to go 5 furlongs on the weeds at Gulfstream in race number 9. Matt, the number 1, Beechwood Ella, came from well off the pace to win at this distance last time out. I thought it was a rock-solid performance for a barn that has done some very nice things with turf fillies this meet.
Yeah, she flew home. It was really impressive. A big turn of foot, especially when you consider the Timeform US didn't have the early fractions as fast. It was just more of a moderate pace, and she was able to just completely mow that field down. I suppose there is a little part of me that wonders, was last time the time to have her on the turn back, facing a little bit lesser? Now she goes up against better horses. Perhaps they're not going to come back to her as easily as everyone else did. And there's, I know I keep harping on it, but I think it's something that handicappers need to be cognizant of. There's usually about a 20-point differential between the buyers and the Timeform ratings. And if you believe that, the Timeform rating, 20 points off that, she's about 5 points slower on the buyer's scale. If that's the case, she's a fringe contender, not one of the likeliest winners.
And while she came from last to win in her most recent start, as you mentioned, it's not easy to roll down a tougher field coming from far back. You only have 5/8 of a mile to do so. I think this filly has some talent. She's certainly bred to be a top-notch turf sprinter. She's by No Nay Never. The dam was Group 3 placed in Ireland, but she's going to take some money in this spot. I'm going to relegate her underneath in my single race wagers. The 3 Catch a Thrill is by the versatile stallion City Zip. Bottom of this pedigree's a lot of dirt. The dam was a stakes-winning dirt sprinter. She's a half to Confrontation, who was a grade 3 stakes winner on dirt. But Catch a Thrill came from off the pace to win her career debut at Gulfstream, but it looked like she got some pace that day.
Yeah, Timeform US agrees. The opening quarter, they had color-coded red, so she certainly had something to run at. But it is nice to see that the third-place finisher came back, earned a 69 in her next start. And this is a filly here, just strictly from a numbers standpoint and from a value standpoint, I would be a heck of a lot more intrigued for a win contender with Catch a Thrill as I would to the inside filly.
Something tells me that the number 9 Play On is going to get bet down from those 6-to-1 morning line odds. This is a full sister to Will Call, a grade 3 stakes winning turf sprinter. The dam was a stakes winner sprinting on synthetic, and Play On seems to have inherited that versatility for trainer Brad Cox. Already a winner on turf, a winner on dirt most recently, and I thought the turf win was pretty gutsy. It looked like she got knocked off stride a little bit in mid-stretch and was still able to get the job done.
And I like that. I understand that most recent race was washed off the turf, but at the end of the day, she's won from just off of it. She's won outright on the lead. I like that versatility. I will say she's another one. I'm not totally sold on the numbers. I think she may be a little bit slower than it looks at face value. But having said that, if you believe the 6-to-1, she's interesting. But as you said, there's a real chance Brad Cox, anything he runs anywhere, they're going to get bet. They take attention, rightfully so. I have a funny feeling that maybe she's in that sort of 7-to-2, 4-to-1 range when it's said and done.
According to the Timeform US pace projector, however, Play On might be sitting in the catbird seat, pressing 15-to-1 outsider, the number 7, Question of the Day. Now, Question of the Day is a half to 3 black-type earners on the turf, so you understand why they're giving her another opportunity on the surface. She's only raced once on grass. That was in the grade 3 Matron at Belmont, and that was a very fast pace. Question of the Day tried to stay close, and then she backed up. She opened up a gigantic lead on dirt last time. Basically a runoff and tired. The turn back helps, but I'm not sure if with a horse like Play On breathing down her neck, she'll be able to hold off everybody.
Well, I agree with that if that's how it plays out. The question I have is, are we talking about a scenario where Play On is right there with the 7 early on, or does the 7 have a length lead or a length and a half or 2 lengths put on her? Because there are worse places to be in a 5-furlong dash than outright on the lead. There's one job for Nick Juarez. You break out of the gate, you drop the hammer and say, come and catch me. If anybody does, so be it. But your game is speed. Keep playing to that.
The horse lacking pace data on the pace projectors are European Invader, the number 5 Ginger Nut, who won 3 out of her last 4 starts in England and is now adding Lasix for trainer John Sadler, who had her entered, I believe, in at least one race in Southern California, but I think he kind of likes the 5 furlongs to bring her back. So here she is at Gulfstream Park. She beat 3 next out winners in her most recent race, and unlike a lot of European horses, she showed a little bit of tactical speed in those races. That being said, said, I expect her to be mid-pack or further back when they turn into the stretch. I'm not doubting Irad Ortiz at Gulfstream right now at all.
No, I was going to say, and I'm not doubting John Sadler either. I think it's a very confident move that he's willing. And like you say, there were options in Southern California that they're going to debut her in Florida. I think that's a very positive sign. But the big part for me is kind of what you tipped off. It's one thing to be relatively close in a race over in Europe. It's another thing to be dealing with 21 and change for an opening quarter mile here. I think she's just going to be kind of stunned by the amount of speed early on. I'm not doubting her ability to run on at the end. I just think there are some other girls in here that can run pretty well too.
I think it's too early to give up on the 8-road Tiger, although I'm wondering if trainer Kenny McPeak is using this race as a bridge to a longer start next time out. This is a filly by Quality Road, sold for $250,000 as a yearling. The Dam, though, is a stakes-winning turf sprinter, and Road Tiger last time out had a lot of things, I think, going against her. She was over a yielding track at Saratoga against a pretty good filly in Varenka, who came back to run second in the Grade 2 Miss Griot with a 76 Beyer speed figure. I think Road Tiger's going to appreciate cutting back in distance for this start, but I think the connections are looking for a little bit of a late rally, nice gallop out, and a stretch out next time.
Yeah, you and I agree 100%. This just feels like a starting off point for me. Maybe the timing isn't ideal, but I could see this being a means to an end to get to a race at Keeneland, going 2 turns on the grass. I think she has some ability. I just don't think that this is the spot for her.
Number 4, Decorated Ace, is already a stakes winner on the turf. She took the sorority last year as a 2-year-old going a mile. I wonder if the 5 furlongs is a little bit sharp. She just scored last time out at Tampa Bay, and she beat a couple of next out winners that day. One of them, the 7th place finisher, returning to score on dirt with a 75 Beyer speed figure. She does seem to be in good form. I just wonder if she's going to be run off her feet early.
Yeah, another instance where I just don't know what her reaction is going to be early on with this kind of speed. I think she's nice. There's just a part of me that thinks additional distance is going to be better.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Melody of Colors Stakes. And Matt, I'm going against one of my cardinal rules in here. I usually don't like to play progeny of Yes It's True on the turf. I get the same feeling about Yes It's True as I do with Bernardini and Flatter. They're just not great turf stallions. He only wins 5% with first-time turf runners. But this Dam has thrown a Group 3 place turf sprinter overseas named Take Me With You. Just Ain't Right's won both of her starts on dirt. The debut, she beat a horse that came back to win with a 92 Beyer speed figure, and then came back to win again against winners with an 87 Beyer. I wonder if John Velasquez is going to look at that Timeform US pace projector, sense the pace isn't that fast, and at least try to outfoot Question of the Day or Sit the Pocket. It's all about whether these Yes It's Trues can handle turf, but I think this horse drifts off the 3-1.
Well, and I think the way that you drew it up is perfect too. You're down on the inside or toward the inside. Use a little bit. Either you sit the pocket or you can ease out into that 2 path. Maybe you're right there with that 9 horse and you're taking up that sort of catbird seat. Admittedly, I don't like the field she beat in that most recent race, but really to me it is one of those instances. You go back, you beat a horse like Queen of Bees. Queen of Bees looks like she could be really, really nice. So clearly this filly has some ability. I'm still a little bit unsure if the turf is where it's going to be.
You're going with the 6, Don't Make Fun, who won the faster division of 5 furlong maiden specials at Gulfstream on January the 13th. The 3, Catch a Thrill, won the slower division. And I just like the way that this Kitten's Joy filly was able to stay close to the pace. She swung widest in the stretch, and then she wore them down. It seems like she's learning with each and every start. Do you think she can be closer to the pace if it's slow?
Yeah, I'm hopeful anyway. I'd rather her not have to come from 3 or 4 out of it if this pace is more on the moderate side, but I just liked everything about that maiden score. Gaffalione basically had her geared down at the very, very end, and it's also positive to see what's come out of that race. The runner-up was a next out winner. She graduated with a 75 Beyer, and again, this is just one of those things where I kind of look at it. Highest last out Beyer in the field with an 81, highest last out raw time form rating with a 103. You get Javier and she's 6-1. It's just kind of one of those things where I'm going to shrug and say, I don't want to overthink this. I'm going to take a chance on a horse that I think arguably could be the fastest one in the field.
She's one I'm using in the pick 5 to be sure. I'm going 2, 5, 6, and 1. Give me numbers.
I went 6, 3, 1, and 5.
Fun race, the $75,000 Melody of Colors. It's one of 3 stakes races at Gulfstream on Saturday. Bet them all with a DRF Bets account because you double your action when you sign up. DRF Bets, ready, set, bet. Approximate post time for the Melody of Colors, 3:58 Eastern. Good luck.